I feel like penalties could really, really hinder this game. Both teams got a little more penalties in certain areas than, is normal, I guess, for two teams in the Super Bowl, but, they're still disciplined enough in their own right. I feel like, one thing about the Philadelphia Eagles is, a lot of people have been complaining about Lane Johnson. Here from this angle, it looks like Lane Johnson is moving fast. They really do. But when you slow it down, is he really moving fast? Or is he watching the ball? A lot of great defensive line coaches tell their players to move when the ball moves. You go on ball. When ball moves, that's when you go. You know what I'm saying? Look at Lane Johnson. Let's get right to the right position on this one. Look at Lane Johnson and look at the ball. Kelsey about to snap the ball. Soon as that ball goes in that backwards motion, ready to get delivered to Jalen Hurts, Lane is off when the ball is off. You know what I mean? Other people just not that good. Other people just not on Lane Johnson's timing. From this angle, as you can see, as soon as that ball moves, Lane moves. This is not a false start, but a lot of people have been complaining about it a lot. And I wonder if they're going to start getting in the ear of the refs with this one. You know what I mean? Been a lot of complaints. This one and the illegal man downfield, we don't want this to turn into a sloppy game to where, the refs are keying in on things that they think we might be getting away with because everybody's been complaining about it. From that angle, the angle you saw on TV, it looked like a first down because you can't see the ball. I mean, it looked like a false start, but, all 22,
Step back and watch the step cook.
You own 17 birds. Big ring, I play for the 17 birds. Hit my line if you own 17 birds. Big ring, I play for the 17 birds. I know a guy if you own 17 birds. Big ring, I play for the 17 birds. I know a guy if you own 17 birds. Big ring, I play for the 17 birds. Yeah, I'm from the 17th curb. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Lord Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I'm the best reporting on the Eagles. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, let me give a shout out to my guys at the Print Champs. They making sure everybody get them gold. You see the light hit the goldie. They make sure everybody get them gold Super Bowl edition hurt season hats. A lot of them are shipping out. They out and about. You know what I mean? We trying to get them to you guys as soon as possible. I think almost 200 out of the 306 have been mailed out. You know what I mean? We trying to meet our Wednesday deadline, to kind of ensure everybody get their hats on time. And that's fire. What you got to understand is every hat is made to order. You know what I mean? Well, I don't just got a bunch of them sitting around. They're made to order, taken care of personally for you guys. And I love the pictures that you guys are putting up in your goldies already, man. Looking real good. Let's talk about it. Penalties, man. A lot of people not touching on penalties right now. I think it's a major thing to touch on, man. I think that when you talk about, how what can really, affect the outcome of a game, or what can really, hinder a team as talented as the Philadelphia Eagles, is the mental errors. And we've seen in a number of games, like the Tennessee Titans game, we seen in the Tennessee Titans game, we saw it. The mental errors, you know what I mean? All the false starts in that game. All the uneligible receiver downfield penalties in that game. Those are two things that, our offensive line could work on to get better at. The best offensive line in the league, but it's always something to work on. You know what I mean? Those are two things we could work on and work at. And those are also two things that if we get hit with a swarm of them at one time, it could force us to punt on the biggest stage. And that's not what we want to have to happen. I want to talk about penalties because after we beat the San Francisco 49ers, a lot of people was complaining about Lane Johnson, this, that. And good coaches, man, they go to the officials before games. Listen, there's a lot of tape on them doing that. Can y'all keep an eye out there? You know what I mean? They do stuff like that. So all the chips on the table, I wouldn't put it past Kansas City to be like, hey, Lane be jumping early. But as you saw from the video that I saw, it looks like Lane's moves on the ball to me. It looks early because it's faster than everybody else. But, Lane is a Hall of Fame right tackle. He should be faster than everybody else. He should be better than everybody else. But, that's neither here nor there. The ineligible man downfield calls could really haunt us. You know what I mean? We got to be mindful of that because we run a lot of RPOs that have linemen going down the field. You know what I mean? Either one or two things got to happen. Call direct runs that have linemen going down the field. Or, Jalen got to throw the ball, get the ball out of his hands quick to avoid those, those penalties. So we're going to see how that shake out. But I wanted to compare, some of the major penalties that each ball club has had up until this point. Let's start a little bit with
Which one am I looking at? Defensive pass interference. Let's start with the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs offensive holding penalties 24. The league average is 19. So they're above league average in offensive holding penalties. Defensive pass interference 15. The league average is 7 per ball club around this time. False starts are way down for those guys. That's a really, really disciplined offensive line. 7 false starts on the season. The league average is 18. Unnecessary roughness 6. The league average is 5. Ineligible downfield 5. The league average is 2. So both teams are going to be over on that. You know what I mean? Defensive offsides 4. They right on cue with the league average. Holding 4. They below league average on defensive holding. Roughing the passer 3. They're right there on the league average with that. Illegal use of hands 3. They're above that. Well, that would make sense because they high in pass interference. You know what I mean? And everything else, delay a game, taunting, we're not really gonna. Who really cares too much about those things? But it's crazy that if you look at what the Chiefs have been penalized on the most, it kind of feels like that their weak spot is the cornerback position. The defensive pass interference, they double that. They more than double that. They more than double the league average in defensive pass interference. And illegal use of hands. They just about doubling in that as well. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. False starts 23, which surprised me that we had less than the Chiefs. The league average is 18. We talked about that. Offensive holding 19. We're right on par with the league average. No, we're above on false starts in those guys. Sorry, this is a little, skewed or a little mixed up than the other one. Holding the league average is 19, so we're right on par with that. They were over on that. Unnecessary roughness 8 for the Philadelphia Eagles. The league average was 5. Ineligible downfield 8. League average 2.75. You know what I mean? But after false start and holding, which are the next two, unnecessary roughness would be the third most penalized thing we've been penalized for, which is crazy. But, I feel like we're more disciplined than a little more disciplined. Our offensive line, leads the 2 categories with the most penalties. But, those are things that we could work on. You know what I mean? Those are things we got to be mindful of. We don't want our habits from the regular season to show up on the biggest stages. You know what I mean? There are ways to get to Patrick Mahomes. There are ways that we can wreck this game on the defensive side of the ball and offense really not even have to do too much. Listen, they really can't stop our run from what I'm looking at. And, pressure bust pipes, man. Pressure bust pipes. I don't know no quarterback known to man that if you get to him, you're not going to change the outcome of the game. You're not. Shout out my guy Dave Duss. He sent me this right here. It says something on the lines that how many times Patrick Mahomes is pressured, if he's pressured 10 or more times, it's a different player out there. You know what I mean? And that makes sense because pressure bust pipes. We got to be mindful that we're staying disciplined and we're getting after him and we're being clean about it. Unnecessary roughness is our top 8. Sometimes is our top 3rd penalized category. Sometimes our motor could be running so hot because we, lead the league in sacks. We want to add sacks that we don't realize that a player could be down, or we don't realize that we doing too much, slamming him in the dirt. We got to be mindful because what they're going to do in this game is protect Patrick Mahomes. I would love to say they're going to protect quarterbacks, but they're going to protect Patrick Mahomes. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man.